And we progress further down the river, one we have traveled before, and we may travel down again. Perhaps we're going in a circle of our own. Like a zero. Yes. Please give me dialogue. Please. Help. Really hanging myself here. It's easy to miss, but beneath that quarter-acre swarm of moths, that's Gortina bidentata, the diamondback moth. They usually live further downriver. There's a quarter-acre sunflower orchard, and beneath that sunflower orchard are two small lots with small houses, positioned so that they just about butt right up against each other. The houses are now empty of human life. There's no sign of a person, or anything living except for moths and overgrowth. There are some pipes bolted onto the cave wall near the perimeter, and a few stone scars where other pipes have been ripped away by scavengers. Those once supported the large grow lamps that fed the sunflowers. The lamps are gone now. Once this crop of sunflowers is picked away, it's unlikely anything else will grow here but lichen, moss, and rock formations. The diamondback moth will move on. The houses will be visible again, and at least until somebody strips them for building materials or the rivers wash them away. The houses were once inhabited by two sisters. Why they built their houses so close together, or lived in any proximity at all, is a mystery, since they clearly despise one another. It's possible the neighboring houses were an attempt at reconciliation. It didn't work. If anything, close quarters just turned up the pressure until those decades of closely held resentments and animosities were pretty near boiling over. All that energy had to go somewhere, and both sisters had the same idea. They took up gardening. They both cultivated sunflowers, an improbable crop for this location. Too improbable, to be concise. Too improbable to be coincidence. Maybe the sunflower had some special meaning for them. Or maybe when one sister saw her rival sowing the impossible seed, she knew at once that she couldn't bear to be outdone. Which sister had the greener thumb, you will never know. The stalks tangled, the roots knotted, and the seeds mixed. Those gangly sunflowers merged the two lots into one undifferentiated field. The two sisters moved out, probably around the same time the moths started showing up. Of course, there was no selling the lots then, overgrown and bug-chewed as they are. In fact, if those sisters ever tried to sell, they'd be in for a rude shock. Not long ago, a property tax clerk, having seen the two adjoining lots registered to the same last name, presumed they belonged to the same owner and erased the legal border between them. Aww. They're all united and brought together. That's how it goes. But also, how the fuck do sunflowers grow down here? is really the go-to question right now. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're in a dark cave. I know they said impossible, but still. Hey, remember that one time I hung out with the two dogs instead of getting a scene? I'm so disappointed that it was neat just seeing the dogs for a moment, but really? They didn't even like narrate any kind of interaction between them. Like we don't inhabit the mind of one of the dogs for a moment, or like walk around as one, or just anything at all. Like at all. It was just like 10 seconds of looking at some dogs, and that was the whole scene. Clara, Kate, and I stopped to do some business by telephone. We've got so many characters to keep track of. Clara and Kate. So that's not even any of the original crew now. It's just the 3 boat crew people. Right? I think partly because they're similar names and the fact that I think we were introduced to both of them on the boat. At first, I didn't know Clara and Kate were different people. I thought that the musician that was not a robot and the boat pilot were the same woman at first, and didn't realize, like, wait, yeah, it's her and her. I didn't realize at first they were different people because I thought there was just 2 crew members on the ship. But no, they're introducing 3 at once, maybe 4. Because aren't you a 4th character? I think they introduced 4 characters in this boat. a lot to keep track of, and Clara and Kate have a lot of letters and similar with each other, so it's not super helpful. They didn't, like, name one of them Zelda or something. I guess we're gonna wait here for a minute. Looks like they have a few calls to make. What are you going to do? Yeah, that's a good question. I just thought I'd stretch my legs, you know, on firm ground. I didn't realize this place would be floating on barrels. Back when I was driving long hauls, that's the real big trucks now. I sometimes wouldn't leave the cab but to pump gas. I took my meals in there. I slept in there. I changed my socks in there, you know, the whole thing. So one time I was hauling a bunch of big spools, telephone wire I think, actually, up from California into Washington State. You know where that is? It's way out, on a map. It's kind of to the left of here, more or less. In between California and Washington, there's a place called Oregon, and you can't pump your own gas there. They have a guy who does it called a gas jockey, and you'd better not even open your door or they get all suspicious. I've drove through California into Washington, and I refueled them in the middle, in Oregon. And so I didn't set foot out of my truck for a whole day. When I came out of that cab, the ground rushed up like it missed me. Gave me a big old kiss right on the chin. Right here. He's all speaking all metaphorical like. Because his legs were so unsteady from not being used to walk around that he just ate shit the moment he got out of his truck and fell on his face. Which, considering he's also an alcoholic, actually is actually a way more depressing story. Because you're realizing like, oh fuck, he's probably been drinking while he's driving, and you don't really notice how much the effect of drinking has on you until you stand up sometimes. What I'm saying is, hell, I forget. What am I talking about? You can't pump your own gas in Oregon. Exactly. Don't forget that, and don't say I never taught you anything. Well, I'll head back around. Might see if I can find any of the good stuff stashed in the... maybe in the spice cabinet? Maybe in the medicine cabinet. That's where it belongs. God, he's such an alcoholic. It's such a bummer. He's so desperate for drinks, he's gonna check the spice cabinet and the medicine cabinet. Hell, who am I talking to? Don't listen to me, kid. I'll see you in a few. Oh, Conway, you depress me so much. What is he doing? Conway! Conway! Oh no! He's literally swimming back to the boat to look for more alcohol because he can't just wait here a minute. Like, we all came here in this little tugboat, but Conway has to swim back because he wants more alcohol.
23 new messages.
Voice acting.
I keep hearing these noises whenever I close my eyes. It's like bells ringing. But the bells aren't metal bells or ceramic bells or the kind of bells like normally hear. They're like this weird... I can't even describe the material. It's just resonant. Just ringing resonant. And as soon as I open my eyes again, there's nothing.
I remember driving across an old dirt road. My birthday at the party at McDonald's in Hawaii. I got a toy that I didn't like. I broke it. Getting caught neck in the jungle gym.
was crying so that monster truck rally that my parents to take me out. And they missed it. One of those two.
Seriously? Whether I wear boots or sneakers, my feet always feel damp. Cold and damp.
I wonder if these are players of the game. Because you could do these extensions during that phone call earlier. In one of the interludes. There's a bear in that room. I just noticed the bear. How long has the bear been there? It's kind of subtly in the background, I guess. It's eating the garbage. So this is at, yeah, because that's the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces. I saw the phone and the lamp, and I was like, okay, I reckon I see this place. I didn't see the bear at first. But on that phone call, that phone number that I called earlier, that automated sequence, the one that trolled me with that goddamn recording of the organist, which was you, Will. There was like extensions you could call that I think you could like leave a message. And I wonder if some of those get selected and put in this game. I wonder if I get like a random sampling of them, or if it's the same ones in the same order for each person. I'm not sure. But because that's one, it's interestingly like that would be an example of taking advantage of the format of an episodic game, because you release the games over time, which means you can take stuff generated in response to one of the games and put that in the next game, the next episode.
Well, I was hoping that you'd be able to tell me why I can't sleep. It seems like it's been a long time, and it seems like it's been it's time to sleep now.
I remember going to a house in Aroostook County, Maine. I was 2, and we were moving, and we were driving up in a white Nissan station wagon with faux wood paneling. And it was the first time that I'd seen the house that I was going to live in for the next 7 years.
Being washed in the bathroom sink. I was just parking my car. I had to parallel park it. The street that I live on was full, but there was a nice. But it just got cold today for like the first time in a long time. So I had the heat on. And whenever you have the heat on in an old car, it definitely smells a certain way. It smells kind of like, it almost smells, you can like smell that it's hot, and you can feel it too, but the smell that it is like from the car itself, like from the engine. And there's been a lot of smoking going on in that car, so it's not exactly a pleasant smell, but it's definitely strong and it's definitely there. And with the windows down, you can also smell that it's cold. So you get both. And that feeling together is super familiar if you've been in old cars a lot. Anyway, I was parking and I had to go in and out about it like 3 times, but when I finally finished parking, it was like perfect. Both wheels against the curb, and that's when I had like the double memory of when I first learned how to drive. My mom taught me how to parallel park. she told me the story about her dad, who was a motorcycle cop, taught her how to parallel park. And every time she parallel parked, he would take out a dime, and if he could fit the dime between the wheel of her car and the curb of the street, then she had to do it again. She didn't do that for me, but every time that I got upset about having to do it again, she would tell me that at least I didn't have to be a dime distance away from the curb. I learned how to drive in the fall, and I got that snow a lot during that time. And I don't know when my mom learned to drive.
I would never get a car if that was the requirement. Parallel parking is actually a nightmare.
Oh, probably going to school.
I can't sleep because the trees are scraping against my window, and it reminds me of a tongue scraping against my skin.
Jesus Christ. That's a fucking Junji Ito essay prompt.
What?
I'm about to cross an ocean. I worry about my dog.
Can't sleep anywhere near a place. The gas is sold. Not when it's being sold, but when it's not being sold.
It was tough to hold on to this thing, but yeah, my hands are pretty damp.
Yeah, these are responses to that. I feel like some of these are supposed to be about... Yeah, some of these are supposed to be places where you can't sleep. Because one of the weird topics that came up in that phone call tree was locations where people can't sleep. There's just a series of places where no one can sleep. It's like that's like one of the premises. It's like I can't sleep anywhere near a place where gas is sold. Not when it's being sold, but when it's not being sold. And yeah. I mean, the most explicit one is that we now have one just referencing holding a snake. It's like, okay, yeah, it's definitely that bizarre experience. That means you, hello, you, he's probably the guy on the phone. It's probably like he's basically managing his phone line, which means that yeah, so I guess that's what he's supposed to sound like. Too late. I've already picked a voice. I can't change it now. I'll lose my mind. Not that I have that kind of range anyway.
I remember the number 10 in a flashcard with a turkey on it. It had a yellow background.
The frogs are too loud.
Not a whole lot. I guess I was walking. I was in a stroller in Treetop Park, Florida. My mother accidentally pushed me into a spider web. And I freaked out a lot. I think that's the first thing I remember.
Kind of want to point out the confidence here too. This big long con of setting up this this phone tree that you can call, putting it in the back of a manual and so on, but then seemingly actually using the results of it in your game, but only in an optional location you can completely miss because the alternative is for people to hang out with dogs, which I feel like you might be stacking the deck against your favor a little bit there by having that be the alternate option. This isn't even like a mandatory part of the game, as shown by the fact that I already beat this chapter and didn't even get this.
We were sent for. End of new messages.
No. Don't you go diving in. Don't you go diving in too. It's actually really cold and kind of dangerous. Did he say where he was going? He's looking for the good stuff. I see. Still thirsty. Kate keeps some diet soda in the broom closet. You didn't hear it from me. It's next to the bleach. Bring a flashlight. It's next to the bleach. Bring a flashlight. What a great sentence. Oh, no, I don't think that's what he's looking for. So any important messages? Every single one. Yeah, no, that's his whole shtick. It's one of his performance art experiments? I don't even know what to call it. Archiving? He lives on his own tune. I don't know, Will was pretty much immediately one of my favorite characters in the game. And it's really fun to find out that he's the guy on the phone who says like, yeah, where's that music come from? I don't know, let's listen to it again though. And it's like, you were playing it was you. Where are you headed tonight, small man? I'm just following my friends. Is this your young woman your friend? We met Ezra earlier tonight. He's been very helpful. I'm hoping we can return the favor once we get it back above ground. Poor kid was sleeping at the bus station and just lost track of his folks. He'll be alright. He's more at home down here than any of us. Trust me, I have an eye for it. He's also just been wearing a suit this whole time, which, how do you land there? That wasn't clear at all either. We first met Ezra on. He was like on the top of he was like at the top of that building in the dark, and it wasn't really clear to see what he looked like so much. So over time, I realized like he's dressed this way. Kate, thanks for calling. I hope I didn't wake you up. No, I can't really get it comfortable enough to sleep anymore, except in the car. Oh, not driving, in the passenger seat, reclined. Eric drove me around the reservoir this afternoon. I got it an hour or two in. I couldn't get settled in bed, so I'm just watching TV. Some cooking show about high concept junk food, and everyone from my high school chemistry class was there, making cupcakes out of old bicycle parts. I think I might have dozed off a bit, actually. Honestly, this baby can come out whenever he wants. I'm completely over it. Good for you. You sound really confident. Oh, it's all an act. I'm actually... Whoa, God, the phones down here are such a mess. Hey, Kate, I really appreciate you checking in. I have your pager number, and so does Eric. So in case I'm too distracted or whatever, I'll let you go. I should probably eat something. Munch on a bitter hedgehog cap. That should relieve some of your intestinal discomfort. Okay, thanks. Maybe I'll just chew on some ice. Talk to you soon, Kate, hopefully. Just disregard my advice. Fine, be that way. Just checking in on a client. Did I mention I'm a birth doula? No, you didn't. I also don't know what that means. I can infer what it means, but that's a new word for me. What's a doula? A doula is a trained companion who is not a healthcare professional who supports another individual through significant health-related experience, such as childbirth. Huh. It's like a professional friend, basically, when we're getting through certain stages. Just sort of like a companion person. You think that she wouldn't be here then? She seems kind of inaccessible. Unless that person's also down here somewhere. I don't know. Wow, how does that fit with being a tugboat captain? Some women choose to come to labor on the boat, actually. For the rest, I have a backup. Just in case I can't get back to dry land in time. I've been lucky and only had to lean on her a handful of times, out of several hundred births. You'll never believe how many people are just born all the time. That's like a nurse, right? Well, no. I don't have any formal medical training or licensing, just a lot of experience. I think most women who hire me mainly want someone in the delivery room who, doesn't treat childbirth like some kind of disease to be cured. I mean, no hard feelings against doctors, but they have their own process and it can be pretty alienating sometimes. Your friend went back aboard? Don't worry, he doesn't know about your soda stash. You were sworn to secrecy. It's okay, I got rid of all that junk food anyway. I'm on a star thistle and grapefruit cleanse. Juice cleansing. I found out at one point that I occasionally would drink juice cleanses. Not as the fad, but just because I was like, that sounds like an interesting drink. And I would just try it. It's like, oh, it's full of like lemon and honey and like spicy stuff. I want to taste that. And I didn't even know that it was supposed to be a part of something. Hello. Kitty. Or somewhere far away. Maybe India or something, I don't know. It is noteworthy that it's the middle of the day, which itself is an unusual visual for this game. I'm actually not used to seeing daylight in this game, that's why this is so stark. Like, the other side of the screen was light a moment ago, but that was... that was just fluorescence, that was indoors. This is actually sunlight. Have we seen sunlight in this game since maybe the beginning? I feel like the sun was setting while I was at the gas station, and we didn't necessarily even understand the weight of that moment at the time. I'm glad you phoned. I was just thinking of you. Sorry I didn't call this week. I've been traveling constantly. That's fine. I visited the hospital yesterday. I went to visit Uncle Andreas, but they moved him. Now he's in a hospice care facility run by some old Polish nun. Everyone says it's very nice. I asked them about visiting, and he said he didn't want any visitors. He's just being stubborn. Yes, it's typical of Andreas. I was thinking maybe if you come visit, he would see you. All those afternoons of you two would go drinking beers by the river. Don't you think it would mean a lot to him if he could say goodbye to you in person? Oh, Nadia. I'd never make it back in time anyway. It's true. You're a long way from home, Clara. I suppose it can't be helped. Oh, here's Mother at the door. We're gonna try to see him. I hope the tour's going well. Love you. Be careful. Oh. She's off performing in the United States and somebody close to her is dying. And they're in a tough spot where they don't want to visit with anybody. My sister back home. She's very depressing to me this morning. My Uncle Andreas is terminally ill and refusing visitors, and Nadia is making a stir about it. It doesn't bother you that your uncle's refusing visitors? He's a bear of a man. Wild animals, it's what they do. When it's time to die, they wander off into the forest alone. No, I said it wrong. They don't wander. They make a pilgrimage. We must always take the dying at their word. Their motivations are beyond understanding. The older man, he's swimming back to the mammoth? No emergency, I hope. He should really have some licorice root tea. Ah, indigestion. Oh, this person is new. This is how insane I can feel sometimes. I'm like, for all I know, maybe I've still been miscounting the characters. It's like, is there a third new person? It's like, no, these two are the two women that I was mixing up with each other because they were introduced at the same time. So I didn't realize that the musician and the captain were different people at first. I thought I was like, oh wow, the captain also plays an instrument until I saw them like in a scene together. But no, this is just a person that happens to be here. So we were that's why we didn't get to see what they were doing on the phone, is because it was just a random person using the phone before us. So we had to wait for them to go by. How'd they get here though? Do they have is there another boat around here? I don't suppose any of you folks are heading past the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces. Not on this run, but we'll be coming back this way in a few hours. Well, I may still be here then. It's no big deal. I'll just hang out and read or something until it's time to head back to work. Hey, you folks are traveling with that old guy, right? With the leg? Is he okay? So people can see the leg. I saw him earlier tonight. He came by the storage facility for some vials. He totally bit on the staircase. He's okay though, right? Sure, he's just been drinking a bit. You know how it is. Yeah, you'd have to be. To dive into the echo like that, haha. Well, have a good night, or morning almost. Morning almost. There's kind of a weight to that too. You're like, oh, it's almost morning. And the game takes place over the course of seemingly one night. You're like, shit, we are coming up to the end of this.